The FedLife podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a fiduciary, fee-based financial planning firm serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of Raymond James. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. And now, here are your hosts. Dan Sipe serves as a branch manager for Raymond James Financial Services and Serving Those Who Serve. Ed Zerndorfer is our guest and federal benefits expert in the space.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the FedLife podcast. If you are new, I will introduce myself. I'm your host, Dan Sipe. Additionally, I'm the branch manager here at Serving the Serve and Lee Sipe & Associates. I'm going to begin, as I always do, by saying thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch us today, but also thank you for your service to the government, to the country, to me, to everyone. In normal times, you don't hear that enough. These are not normal times. Okay, so please know that there are people like us out there who appreciate what you do. And you do not hear that enough, but you will always hear it here. The other person that you will always hear here is the guru, Ed Zerndorfer. He's back with us once again as part of our ongoing mission, which is to reach, teach, and serve you, the career civilian Fed. Once again, if you're new, we follow Ed's Fed Zone articles, which you can find every single week in the Fed Zone at fed-zone.com. And this gives us one more way to reach and teach. So for the auditory learners, we got you. For the visual learners, we got you. For the folks that like to read, we got you. Or as I like to say, your notes are already pre-taken because Ed's done a great piece on it. So Ed, boy, the FERS supplement has been front and center in the news. And it seems, as you predicted, that the Senate has dropped its elimination as we go to reconciliation, at least for the existing feds. And again, I'd like to point out that's exactly what you've been predicting for the last month or more. But now you have a great article that brings us back into the now. And that is reminds us how our annuity supplement recipients need to report their earnings. And specifically, you address reporting earnings for 2024. So you begin with some context around FERS and Social Security and the FERS supplement. And this understanding is crucial. So tell us about it.
Yes, Dan. I think it's important that we talk about why there is the FERS annuity supplement, also known as the Special Retirement Supplement Annuity. Well, background about FERS, as you know, Dan, there are three components to the FERS retirement. When a FERS employee retires from federal service, he or she will eventually receive the following types of retirement income. First of all is the FERS annuity. FERS annuity is a guaranteed pension. The second type of retirement income a FERS employee will eventually receive who retires from federal service is the FERS savings plan. And the other piece of the FERS retirement is Social Security. I'm saying that because under the old system, a CSRS employee does not cover by Social Security. So he or she, they have to go out and earn their Social Security on their own. They don't get it as they don't earn any credits but when they are working for the federal government as a CSRS employee. Anyhow, so I say eventually, I say a FERS employee will eventually receive it. When a FERS employee retires from federal service under the immediate retirement rules, he or she will receive 1 to 2 months after the day he or she retires, the first of lifetime FERS annuity checks.
Sure.
Now, there are different types of immediate retirement. Let me just go through briefly what they are. A FERS employee could retire from federal service if he or she has a minimum 30 years of credible FERS service once they reach the age of what's called the minimum retirement age. What is minimum retirement age? Age 55 to 57, depending on what year an employee was born. Example, if an employee was born in 65, their minimum retirement age is 56 years and 2 months. 56 years and 2 months. All right. So that's the first type of retirement. A FERS employee who obviously through the years has contributed to the traditional TSP can, if they want to, start withdrawing from their thrift savings plan, I should say their traditional TSP, if they retire sometime during or after the year they turn 55.
Sure.
And I'm sorry. I was talking about the immediate retirement. I'm going to get to the TSP here in a moment. A FERS employee could retire under the immediate retirement rules with a minimum 20 years of service, between 20 and 30 years of service at the age of 60. And finally, a FERS employee could retire with a minimum 5 years of service at age 62. Now, there are other types of immediate retirement I want to briefly go through, and that would include early retirement. FERS employees who retire under a voluntary early retirement authority,
Sure.
or a voluntary separation incentive payment, VSIP, could retire with a minimum 25 years of service at any age, or they could retire at age 50 with between 20 and 25 years of service. Now, there are also special provision employees have their own rules. They have their own rules when they can retire. Basically, a special provision employee can retire. And that includes law enforcement official, firefighter, air traffic controller, Customs and Border Patrol officer, Customs, Border, and Patrol officer could retire at any age with 25 years of service or age 50 or 20 years of service under the immediate retirement rules. And then lastly, I want to mention that under FERS, there is an option of retiring at what is called your minimum retirement age, MRA, with between 10 and 29 years of service. This is called the MRA plus 10, MRA plus 20 immediate retirement. Okay, those are the different types of immediate retirements. Now, under the TSP rules, a FERS employee retires under the immediate retirement. They retire sometime during or after the year they turn age 55. They can make penalty-free withdrawals from their traditional TSP. They have to wait till 59 and a half to start taking out money from their Roth TSP. And lastly, the earliest age a FERS employee could get their Social Security, earliest age they can start drawing their Social Security retirement benefits, I should say, is age 62. So let's think about this, Dan. The FERS employee retires before 62. For example, at their minimum retirement age with 30 years of service, or at age 60 with 20 years of service. They can't start receiving Social Security. They're too young. So that being said, when FERS was started, OPM decided that those FERS employees retire under the immediate retirement rules before age 62 will be eligible to receive the special retirement supplement annuity, also known simply as the supplement annuity, that would start the same time that their FERS annuity is. That is 1 to 2 months after they retire. That is available to all the different types of immediate retirement I mentioned, with the exception of MRA plus 10, MRA plus 20. If a FERS employee goes out under what's called a reduced retirement, even though it's immediate, the annuity is going to reduce, they're not eligible for the FERS annuity supplement. So the FERS annuity supplement annuity. So that's a basic background why the FERS annuity supplement was established, in order to let employees retire before age 62 to get a portion of their Social Security. I'll discuss here in a moment what a portion of their Social Security is until they reach age 62. I'm saying that because the FERS annuity supplement ends the month a FERS annuitant reaches age 62. It's not fair. And by the way, if a FERS employee retires after age 62, they will not get the FERS new supplement. Why? Because they're over 62. They can start drawing your Social Security. So that's
Gotcha.
a basic background of the FERS annuity supplement, why it's there, and why OPM decided to pay it.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Well, then, a good segue, Ed, because your article goes into how that supplement payment is calculated, because it's based on Social Security, but it's not identical to what they would have gotten at 62, correct?
Exactly, Dan. And the way OPM calculates the FERS and supplement is that OPM, when a FERS employee retires, again before 62 under the immediate retirement rules, the OPM, when they're adjudicating the retired employee's application for retirement, OPM will contact Social Security, and they're going to ask Social Security, we have a FERS employee just retired before age 62. We would like to know what is that employee's anticipated Social Security benefit at age 62. Why is that? Well, as you know, Dan, when you look at your Social Security statement, Social Security tells you what your Social Security benefit is in today's dollars at age 62, at your full retirement age, and age 70. It's available, and anybody who does not have a Social Security statement account should get one, so this way they can look at their anticipated benefits. So Social Security will tell OPM's retirement office, as they're adjudicating laws, what that anticipated Social Security, what that anticipated now new retiree benefit would be in today's dollars at that time when they're adjudicating the benefit.
Sure.
And then once OPM's retirement office has that anticipated amount, that is the newly soon to be retiree benefit, Social Security benefit at age 62, OPM is going to take a percentage of that anticipated benefit. And how they calculate their benefits? They form a ratio. The denominator is 40. Why 40? Because during one's lifetime, working lifetime, on average, individuals pay on average are paying into Social Security for 40 years. They're working for 40 years. They start working, let's say, in their late teens, and they work to the late 50s, maybe early 60s, on average 40 years. That is the denominator. The numerator to calculate this percentage is the number of years of credible FERS service. That would include years that the employee was working under FERS. If the employee made a deposit for temporary time, that's also included in the numerator. I will tell you what is not included in the numerator. If a FERS employee made a military deposit.
Gotcha.
Even though that counts for credible service, OPM will not count that. Also, when a FERS employee retires, any unused sick leave is used to, when converted to months and days of service, to add to the employee service time for calculation purposes. Unused sick leave is not used in the calculation in that numerator. So let's do an example to help understand what's going on here. Suppose we have a FERS employee who had exactly 30 years of service, retired at their minimum retirement age, whatever it was, 30 years of service, 30 years of credible service, and let's suppose that employee's anticipated Social Security benefit estimated Social Security benefit at age 62 is $15,000.
Gotcha.
So we're going to form a ratio, 30 over 40, 30 years of credible service divided by 40, 30 over 40 times, 30 over 40 is 75%. I'm going to multiply times 15,000, and I come up with $11,250. So that is this newly retired FERS employees going to be their FERS annuity supplement in addition to, Dan, their FERS annuity. They're getting this in addition to their annuity. And that will continue, the $11,250 as well as the FERS annuity. No COLA. There's no COLA on
Right.
this. No cost of living adjustment. Together with the FERS annuity, there's no COLA. There is no COLA on either the FERS annuity or the FERS supplement, and then the FERS supplement will stop the month the employee retires. Oh, sorry, the month they become age 62. But the FERS annuity will continue. So that's a basic description of how the FERS annuity supplement is calculated. And OPM will calculate the FERS annuity supplement automatically, unless the employee says, I don't want it.
Gotcha.
Man, why would they not want it?
Well, I think we're heading towards that in the next section. Because you mentioned in your article that somebody could retire from federal service. They could start their annuity. They could start their FERS supplement. And they might decide they're bored at home and want to get a job. And just like Social Security has an earnings limiter test, so does the FERS supplement. So some earnings are exempt. What's that limit?
Yeah, I just want to change the wording here a little bit. And that is, this FERS annuitant found out the hard way that the FERS annuity supplement is not much. And together with the FERS annuity, they're not able to pay their bills. I'm serious.
Gotcha.
Let's get back to this COLA, this cost of living adjustment. Dan, we're living in inflationary times. And a FERS annuitant who retires before 60 is getting no COLA on anything. Many FERS annuitants, many of them don't want to touch their TSV. They want to leave it alone. Let it grow more. So they're living off the FERS annuity and the FERS annuity supplement. And they think, the only way I'm going to be able to pay my bills, I'm going to have to go back to work. I'm going to have to go back to work in order to pay my bills. The FERS annuity supplement is subject to what's called an earnings test. What is an earnings test? It means, and it's identical to the Social Security earnings test, that if you are a Social Security recipient and you're under your full retirement age, you take your Social Security at age 62, 63, 64, 60, 65, before you reach your full retirement age, which now is between 66 and 67, depending on what year you're born, that you are limited to what you can earn. I'm talking about salary, Dan, earned income. Maybe a FERS annuitant is starting a business. They're self-employed.
Sure.
And hopefully they're going to make a profit. They're going to have self-employment net income. Hopefully. They're limited to what they can earn in terms of salary and net and self-employment net income. Because if they go over the limit, and we'll talk about what the limit is here in a moment, OPM will take back some, if not all, of the FERS annuity supplement. Now, for the year 2024, the earnings limit, call it the exempt amount, that's the amount the employee can earn up to that amount with no effect on their FERS annuity supplement. No effect whatsoever. OPM will not take any portion of value. They can earn up to this amount. And that amount is, let me check my notes here, back in 2024 was $22,320. $22,320. And the rule is that under the earnings test, for every $2 a FERS annuitant who's receiving the FERS annuity supplement, for every $2 they earned above $22,320, OPM will take back $1 of the annuity supplement. Let me get my calculator here. So what does that mean, Dan? We take $22,320. That means if a FERS annuitant back in 2024 had gotten a job and earned over $66,960, they're going to lose all their annuity supplement.
Gotcha.
So that's called the earnings test. It's the same earnings test, by the way, for Social Security. But let me just say this. There's a difference between the way
Big difference.
OPM reduces the annuity supplement versus the way Social Security reduces it. No. What Social Security is going to do is, let's suppose we have this annuitant, this first annuitant, who during 2024 had earned more than $66,960.
Gotcha.
OPM will apply the reduction to the following year's annuity supplement, like this year, 2025. Under the Social Security rules, Social Security reduces the current year monthly benefit. There's a difference here. It's the OPM is different. So now, it's the responsibility of a FERS annuitant receiving the FERS annuity supplement to report to OPM each year what they're earning. If they go out and get a job, it's their responsibility to tell OPM what their earned income is.
Sure.
I stress it's earned income. The first annuitant, they could have as much interest, dividends, capital gains. We're not talking about investment income. We're not talking about any type of retirement income. They might have IRAs coming in. They might have IRA income, traditional, Roth, anything. They might have a rental property. Doesn't count. It's only what's called earned income. So OPM wants to hear from the employee. And it's at this time of year, and that's why I wrote the column, that the FERS annuity supplement needs to tell OPM what their earned income was back in 2024. So how do they know that? When they fill out the form, and it's actually a form that the FERS annuitant has to fill out. It's form RI 92-22. RI 92-22 is entitled Annuity Supplement Earnings Report. So on that report, the annuitant has to tell OPM what their earned income was back in 2024. So where's the annuitant going to get the information? From their 2024 W-2 statement. If they were self-employed, when they filed their 2024 income tax return, they should have filled out form Schedule SE, that's self-employment tax. On that form, it tells you, it shows the net income. That's what they got to report on that 92-22.
Gotcha. And again, folks, this is part of our process to make sure that we're covering the things that you need to know to stay on track. Yes, there have been unprecedented upheavals and assaults, in my opinion, on civil service, but life goes on. So these are the things you want to make sure that you don't miss. And be sure to head over to the Fed Zone. Again, it's fed-zone.com, where Ed's got these articles. There are great examples in there too, to help you get your hands around it and understand it so you make the best decisions. Well, sir, you did it again.
I just want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
With a couple of things.
Sure.
It's my understanding that OPM's retirement office will send out the form RI 92-22 to someone who's receiving the FERS annuity supplement. Okay, they will send it out. They don't know where the form is on the website. The form is on the website, opm.gov/forms. They don't have to download it. That should be sent by OPM's retirement office, but they need to fill it out as soon as possible if they're getting it around this time of year. That's number one. Number two is a special provision employees. Remember, I was mentioning about special provision employees, law enforcement officials, federal firefighters, federal air traffic folks, customs and border and patrol officers. They can retire, before their MRA. They can retire at any 25 years of service at any age. They can retire at age 50, between 50 and 55. They have a minimum of 20 years of service. When they retire from federal service, they also get the FERS supplement. But there's one difference. They can go out and get another job. And the FERS supplement is not subject to this earnings test until they reach MRA.
Oh, gotcha.
Years ago, I was doing a webinar. I set a live seminar in Albuquerque, New Mexico for firefighters. So I had someone who told me he's 46 years old. He's got 25 years of federal fire service. He's going to retire from federal service. And he heard about this FERS annuity supplement he's going to get in addition to his FERS annuity. And he said, it's not much. I'll be honest, he said, my FERS annuity is not that much. I got to go out and get a job. I said, I got some great news for you. You can go out and get a job, and I think as a firefighter, you are in high demand.
Sure.
You're right. I got a job offer. Earn as much as you want. No earnings test until you reach your minimum retirement age. I also told him that unlike other regular employees, you get a cost of living adjustment on your FERS annuity. So the special, they work hard, dangerous work, they deserve to treatment. Also want to mention that I got about a couple of years ago, I got a email request. Somebody lives here in my community. She worked in Congress as a congressional aide, and she retired from Congress very young, at the age of 52. So she retired early. And she said, gee, Ed, I'm getting my FERS annuity and I'm getting my FERS annuity supplement. And all of a sudden, I got this thing in the mail from OPM. They want to know my earnings. Why is that? I said, Sharon, I don't know if you're aware of this, that, the FERS annuity supplement, as a congressional, you retire from Congress, you get the FERS annuity supplement like special provision employees, and you can get it together with your FERS annuity. But when you reach your minimum retirement age, you're subject to an earnings test. Oh, I didn't know that. They didn't tell me that when I retired. I said, that's what it's all about. So that's another thing I want to mention. One last thing here. When a FERS annuitant is filling out that FERS annuity supplement, they got to report their earnings. Where do they get it from? As I said, their W-2 statement on their 2024 W-2 statement. Now, as you know, Dan, there's several boxes on the W-2. Box 1 is taxable wages.
Gotcha.
Box 3 is Social Security wages. Box 3 is Medicare wages. So which box should a FERS who has to report his or her earnings used? Box 3. Box 3.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Because not box 1, not taxable wages. And the reason for that is that if somebody could go out and get a job, a person can go out and get a job, earn, like my example here, $66,960, let's say. But if their employer offers a 401k plan, they put money into a traditional 401k, it reduces their taxable wages, but it does not reduce their Social Security wages.
Gotcha.
So that's why you got to use box 3.
Makes sense. Well, once again, sir, you did it. You took a pretty complicated topic and you made it very accessible and understandable. Folks, this is important stuff. And again, as I was saying earlier, this is part of the Life Goes On, because if you're still with us, you're still in federal service, this is the information you need, and your friends need it too. So I'm asking more than I ever have for you to share these videos with folks, because you can make a huge difference for people. Ed, I'll say it again, on behalf of all of our feds, thank you for being such a great resource.
My pleasure, Phil. My pleasure.
Well, folks, that's a wrap. We are Serving Those Who Serve. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on our YouTube channel and Spotify. Hit that. We have 3,000 subscribers to this thing. It's coming along. That only represents about a third of all the people who watch them. Okay, so there's still 70% or so of you that haven't subscribed yet. Please do so, because it's going to help your friends find it. And every week I meet somebody where our content, our information could have made a difference for them, and they didn't know we existed. They're happy to meet us. And when I go through things, I say, oh, wow, a decision you made with deferred resignation program, you might have been better off doing it this way. So please, please, please Share it with folks. We're putting it out there into the universe to do good. So please help us with that. Share it with friends, share it with strangers, throw in an enemy here. You might make a new friend. Don't forget our live webinars every single week. Just go to the website, sdavisserve.com. You'll see that button, click on it, and it's going to take you to the whole menu. It's the guru. He will come to you, teach you where you are, reach you where you are, and serve you where you are. Sign up for one, sign up for all, share it with your friends. They will thank you. And I already mentioned, read Ed every single week in the Fed Zone. That's fed-zone.com. Even if we didn't amplify it through our podcast, he's in there every week. We pick 2 of them every month. So there's 2 more in there that are gold. Don't miss them. So signing off for Ed, the crew at Serving the Serve, and me, Dan Sipe, I'm going to sign off as I always do by saying good luck, Godspeed, and above all, remember, it's your Fed life. Make it a great one because you deserve it. Stay well, everybody. We are out.